Good morning. What we got going on today is I'm going to make some spaghetti sauce and then I'm going to pressure can it and try to get some for the winter. Unfortunately, my garden crapped out. I didn't have a good garden at all. So I'm going to make it with what I got. So this is what I got going. I've got some hamburger. I got some yellow peppers. I got onion. I got a few tomatoes from my garden that I chopped up and put them in there so that I can say, hey, yeah, I grew that. And it is all in a roaster. What I'm going to add to it is this extra heavy puree. They're number 10 cans. I got 2. And then I'll add some tomato paste. I have some tomato paste. I'll probably put 3 cans of it in to start. Of course, my spices. And then I have some stewed tomatoes I might add to it and let it all cook down. So I'm going to put this all together and then I'll come back. This is what the sauce looks like that I bought from Amazon. You can see it's got a lot of nice chunks in it. And that's going to cook down nice. I have my first can in. And now I'll add my second can. And now I'm going to add some tomato paste. Like I said, 2 or 3 cans. This already has basil, garlic, and oregano in it. So I'll open those and add them to the sauce. Now I have the tomato sauce in. And it gave me quite a bit. See, look. And now I'm gonna add my tomato paste. I'd really like to put mushrooms in it, but I don't have any. And unfortunately, I had no garlic. Or if I do, I just can't find where I left it. I usually always have garlic, so that's my bad. Oh my goodness. Speaking of bads. Okay. Put 1. 2. There we go. We have 3 cans of tomato paste in it. Stir that in. You know, there's no reason why we can't make our own spaghetti sauces instead of buying the name brands, you know. The Ragu and the Prego, yeah, they're very easy. And they're not too expensive. But I have a pressure canner, and I have canning jars. And I was supposed to have my own tomatoes. But I had to improvise. And so I said, I remember when I worked in the restaurant, they had these big cans. They're called number 10 cans of sauces and stuff. So I plugged it into the old Amazon and these came up. And I said, yeah, we'll try that. If you don't try stuff, you can't fail, right? Or you can't succeed. Okay, I'm also going to add 4 cans of stewed tomatoes. These have garlic and oregano in them, and they're pretty chunky. Give that a little stir. Next, I'm going to add some Italian seasoning. I have more that I can use also. I'm also going to add a little bit of garlic powder that I have. I'm just eyeballing it. Then we have some Italian seasoning. I'm really surprised because it's not supposed to expire until 2026, so that's a shock. Me and spices, I don't keep an eye on them like I should. So I'm gonna add about that much, I guess. Yeah, I'd say about a quarter of a cup. Then I'm gonna also add some basil leaves. It'd be really nice to have fresh basil, but I don't have any. So we'll add some basil. Take that cover off. There we go. About an eighth of a cup. Maybe 2 tablespoons, maybe. Stir that in. It's looking good. Nice and thick. Okay, next I'm going to add sugar. Just to cut the tomato acid taste. I'm going to probably start with a half a cup. Because I'm kind of guessing this, so we'll see how this goes. Here's a half a cup. I don't want it overly sweet. Try not to bang that anymore. Okay, what else do we need? We need a little bit of olive oil. Let's get some olive oil. Looks like I've got about a half a cup left. Let's see. Yeah, perfect. Olive oil. Okay, next we need pepper. I guess you guys could put in some red pepper flakes if you like that in your spaghetti sauce. But we don't do spicy in my house. None of us are spicy eaters. So what we're gonna do is let this all cook together. And come back to it probably in about an hour. I'll see how it's cooking down. Add a little more Italian seasoning, some fresh stuff. There. I think that's good. So I will come back later after this is cooked down and I'll show you again. We are having spaghetti for dinner tonight, so we'll be able to test out the sauce before I can it up later. So I'm gonna let that cook down. It's pretty thick already. I don't think I'll have to put any more tomato paste in it. I'd love to put sausage in it, but I have some in my family don't like sausage. So I just did hamburger. And my jars are warm. So I have my canning jars in the lids, and yes, I'm a rebel canner. I am reusing lids. I haven't had a problem so far. So I'll put my sauce in my jars. I'm sure you've seen it a million times, so I won't bore you with it. Okay, I'm leaving about 1.5 inches of head space, wiping the rim with a little bit of white vinegar. Putting the cover on, just finger tight. There's our first jar. Okay. And I'm gonna put a little bit of salt. What I have is sea salt, so that's what I'm using. It's about 1/2 teaspoon. Also, don't forget to remove your air bubbles. It's kind of hard to do this with one hand. So we ended up with 8 jars in this canner. And I think I have enough left maybe to do a few pints. We'll see after I process these. So to process these, I'm going to turn the heat on, bring the water up to a boil, and let it vent for a full 10 minutes. After it's vented for 10 minutes, I am going to put my 10-pound weight on it, and then I will process it for 70 minutes. After that 70 minutes, I will turn down the heat and let it natural come down to 0 pressure, because we want 10 pounds of pressure. Once it's down to 0, then I will take the lid off after waiting 10 minutes. And then remove them and set them out and let them set for 24 hours. And that is my process. So now the cover is on. And this is my gauge. Once I start measuring and putting the weight on it, it'll build up pressure on this little gauge here. And for Maine, we want like 10 pounds. Sometimes I go a little bit over. This is the vent. Steam will come out of this once it comes up to temperature, and we want the steam to flow out of that for 10 minutes before we put our weight on it. Okay, so I'm not sure if you can see the steam. It's been steaming for 10 minutes. My timer just went off. Put my weight on it. And I'm gonna watch my gauge. Once it gets up to 10, I wanna keep the heat right there. When it gets close to 10, you'll see this thing will shake. And that's a good sound. You just don't want it to like go crazy. So as you can see, it's actually going up now. Okay, I'm back. We are at 10 pounds of pressure. So I am going to start timing the process now. I'm going to set my timer for 70 minutes. Okay. The little weight is doing its jig, so we're doing really well. No heat. Just put it back with the pad. So I'm going to keep it at 10 pounds. Like I said, I usually use about 12 pounds per minute. What we don't want to do is to go way up. So if I cut back on my heat, my pressure will drop. If I give it more heat, the pressure will go higher. So there we go, jiggly jig. What is wrong, Nessie? My cat's meowing to go outside. And it's nighttime, and I don't like her out at night, but she loves to hunt at night. Her name is Nesta. If you know, you know. Okay, so I'm going to let this do its thing until the timer goes off. Here they are. My first batch. I probably will do another batch because I have some left. I processed them for 70 minutes. I know my timer said 80 minutes, but I cut back 10 minutes when I figured out that I mathed wrong. I've heard a couple pings, so now I'm just gonna let them set, and let them seal. I'll let it set for 24 hours, and then I'll check their seals by pressing down on the top. I'm not gonna touch them now because they're super hot. Okay, well, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you've joined me. Please give me a thumbs up and join my channel and share. I'm just a grandma making things so that my granddaughters or grandsons or great-grandbabies can look back and see a little bit of me and what I used to do. Take care, and God bless. Ooh, here goes a pop. Bye, guys.